All right, another day and another build. Another day in the Crucible. Today we're tackling one of the most unique card types in all of tabletop gaming. A concept that truly sets Tools and Titans apart.
We're talking about a card type that isn't a creature, isn't just a spell, but something in between. A memory. An echo. Today, we are doing a deep dive into EchoForms.
But before we summon the ghosts of the past, let's ground ourselves in the present. For anyone new joining us, you might be wondering what a turn even looks like in this game. It's the engine that drives every decision.
It's beautifully simple in its structure, but deeply complex in its execution. 6 steps. That's all it takes to get started.
So how do you play Tools and Titans? Easy. First, you draw your cards. The start of any great plan. Second, you charge your energy. This isn't just mana, it's the lifeblood of your craft. Third, you build your field. Play your structures, your tools, lay your foundation. Fourth, you act with your powers. This is where you use abilities, complete tasks, and unleash your strategy. Fifth, you clash with your titans. The moment of conflict, where steel meets steel. And sixth, you end your turn. A moment to regroup as the board state settles.
6 steps. 1 epic battle. Keep that rhythm in your head, because everything we discuss today, especially EchoForms, plugs directly into that flow, twisting and enhancing each phase.
Okay, EchoForms. When I first started playing, I kept thinking of them as creatures or summons, like in other TCGs. But that's not right, is it?
Not at all. That's the first hurdle to get over. In other games, you summon a monster and it stays. It has health, it has power, it's a body on the board. EchoForms are different. They aren't independent beings. Think of them as memory spirits of the Forge.
So they're not alive, in the traditional sense. They're resonant after-images of an action that was performed, like the heat shimmering off a freshly forged sword.
Exactly. They are summoned manifestations of a Titan's prior efforts. They can be forged from the energy of a discarded tool, the completion of a difficult task, or even the lingering pulse of weave energy in the environment. They are the ghosts of trade, memory, and divine labor.
That's poetic. So they show up, do something, and then vanish? What's the strategic value in something so fleeting?
That's their core identity. Their temporary nature is their greatest strength. EchoForms emerge, perform a specific function, and often decay, leaving behind a secondary effect. They are measured disruptions. They don't win the game by sticking around. They win it through function and consequence.
So they act as the replacement for traditional summon cards, but with a narrative and mechanical twist. Their utility is linked to your Junkyard, or to the tasks you've completed. They are proof of your progress?
Right. They provide tactical pressure, a momentary effect, or a repeat trigger for one of your other cards. And then, poof, most of them are gone. But their impact lingers.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Let's talk mechanics. How do they function on the board? If I have an EchoForm in my hand, when can I play it?
Typically, you'll play an EchoForm during your action phase, just like many other cards. But what makes them special is that they can also be generated automatically by other effects. You might complete a task, like forge a masterwork tool, and suddenly an EchoForm called the Essence of the Anvil is summoned to your field as a reward.
Or you activate a specific tool, and it leaves behind an EchoForm in its wake. It's not just a card you play, it's an event that happens.
Precisely. Once in play, they act as temporary allies. They might buff your Titan for a single turn, apply a strange effect to a whole zone on the board, or help you complete a task. They occupy one of your 2 summon slots, so you have to be strategic. You can't flood the board with them.
And then they disappear. You mentioned a fade effect. That sounds like the most important part of their design. It's not just what they do when they arrive, but what they do when they leave.
It's one of the most powerful mechanics tied to them. When an EchoForm leaves play, either at the end of the turn or because your opponent destroyed it, it often triggers a fade effect. This is a secondary impact that reflects its brief, ghostly existence. It turns a loss into an opportunity.
So you get a benefit when it arrives, and another when it leaves. That's double the value from a single temporary card. It forces your opponent into a difficult choice. Deal with it and trigger its fade, or leave it alone and deal with its active ability.
That's the dilemma. Let's break down the keywords, because they really define what these cards can do. First, as we mentioned, is fade. A fade effect can be anything from dealing 1 damage to the enemy Titan, to letting you draw a card, to pulling a specific tool back from your junkyard. It's a parting gift.
What else is there?
There's Pulse. An EchoForm with Pulse will reactivate its effect each time a specific elemental weave triggers. Imagine a harmonic coil echo on your field. Its text reads, Pulse, green. Place a +1 charge counter on a target tool. Every time you generate green weave energy, that EchoForm triggers again. It turns a steady stream of resources into a growing threat.
That creates a beautiful synergy loop. It rewards you for sticking to your deck's game plan. What about the Junkyard? You said they're tied to memory and the past.
That's where the Scavenge keyword comes in. This is a personal favorite. If you summon an EchoForm from your junkyard instead of your hand, Scavenge grants it an extra, often more powerful, ability. It's like recalling a memory with perfect clarity, making it stronger than it was the first time. It makes your opponent hesitant to destroy your cards because they know you can bring them back better.
And the last big one I've seen is Tether. It sounds defensive.
It's more symbiotic. A Tether EchoForm attaches itself to one of your structures or tools. It stays on the field, boosting that card's effects as long as it's tethered. For example, a reinforcing strut EchoForm could tether to your forge wall structure, giving the wall a higher defense. But if the forge wall is destroyed, the EchoForm fades with it, likely triggering a fade effect as a final act of defiance.
So their lifespan is a crucial mechanic. Most are gone at the end of the round. Some are linked to an event, like they'll stay until a task is done or a tool breaks.
And a few, very rare EchoForms can become permanent if you manage to fuse them or anchor them to a powerful structure. But that's a strategy that requires your entire deck to be built around it. It's a high-risk, high-reward path.
All right, this is a lot to absorb. Let's take a breath and reset. It all comes back to the core loop of the game.
That's the best way to think about it. Every single turn is a cycle.
Every Titan turn, draw, charge, building act, clash, end, 6 steps.
Infinite ways to forge your victory. And EchoForms slot right into that rhythm, mostly in the act and end phases, creating ripples that change the flow of the game.
So, strategically, when are these cards most effective? It sounds like you can't just throw them onto the field whenever you want.
Absolutely not. EchoForms are about precision. They are best used intentionally, not habitually. You use them to create temporary shifts in the board state, not to build a permanent army. You use them to ask your opponent a question they have to answer now.
Forcing your opponent to deal with a threat that's going to vanish anyway, while you get value from its fade effect. That's a great way to control the tempo.
Exactly. In the early game, a cheap EchoForm can disrupt your opponent's setup. In the mid-game, a powerful fade effect can swing the board back in your favor. And in the late game, some EchoForms exist purely to enable a final game-winning combo.
So they fill the gaps. When you don't have the right tool or structure ready, you can summon an EchoForm to apply pressure or defend yourself for a turn.
Let's talk counterplay. How do you fight against this? If your opponent is running a heavy EchoForm deck, Graveyard Disruption is key. Cards that can remove items from their junkyard shut down their Scavenge strategies. Ability-canceling effects are also critical. If you can counter the fade trigger, you've neutralized half the card's value.
It becomes a game of prediction. So who uses them best? Are there specific Titans that excel with EchoForm strategies?
Definitely. Most decks will run a few for utility, but some Titans build their entire engine around them. Memory and recursion decks, like those for Kleptorix, Verdessia, or Mirix, are phenomenal with EchoForms. They are already focused on the Junkyard and reusing resources, so EchoForms feel like a natural extension of their power.
What about the Rustborn? They seem more direct, more destructive.
The Rustborn have a fascinating relationship with EchoForms. Fuscandra and other Junkyard synergy Titans can use Scavenge to bring back EchoForms that are surprisingly powerful, turning their discard pile into a toolbox of temporary weapons. Others, like Shivvolt, can actually infect opposing EchoForms, corrupting them and turning their fate effects against their owner.
And the weave-centric decks?
Titans like Draftor, Oravana, and Calypsis, who manipulate the weave, can trigger pulse effects over and over again. They turn a simple, temporary EchoForm into a recurring nightmare for the opponent, a constant source of value that just won't go away until the core problem is dealt with.
This all points to why EchoForms are so important to the game's design. They provide temporal advantage, those short bursts of value that can turn a match. Let's spotlight a few specific examples to make this concrete.
An excellent idea. Let's start with a classic, the Fragmented Forgewalker. It's a one-cost EchoForm. Its effect is simple. When this enters play, the next tool you play this turn costs one less. Its fate effect is, place one charge on your active tool. Simple, effective.
So for one energy, you get a discount and then a free resource when it leaves. It helps you ramp up your board presence early. It fits perfectly into a fast, aggressive tool-based deck. I can see a Titan like Verdessia using this to power up her arsenal quickly.
Now for something more complex. The Splice Tether Wisp. This is a 3-cost EchoForm with Tether. Its text reads, Tether to target structure. The tethered structure cannot be targeted by opponent's cast cards. Its fate effect is, you may replay a cast card with cost 3 or less from your Junkyard.
Wow, that's a delayed combo setup. So you play it to protect a key structure, like a resonance spire that's generating your weave. Your opponent has a choice. Destroy the Wisp, which then lets you replay a powerful spell for free, or try to destroy the structure with Titan or tool damage, which is much harder. That's a brilliant piece of control for a Titan like Draftor.
And on the darker side, there's the Rustborn Shard Echo. It's a 0-cost EchoForm with a unique summoning condition. You can only play it when one of your own tasks fails. It has no effect while in play. It's a monument to your failure. But its fate effect is potent. Your opponent discards a card at random.
So you turn your own misstep into direct disruption for your opponent. It embodies the Rustborn philosophy perfectly. Even failure can be weaponized. It's a psychological blow as much as a mechanical one.
It's so clear how they interact with the game's core mechanics. They can be summoned from your hand, your Junkyard, or generated by tasks and weaves. They can be boosted by charge counters, supported by structures, and they can be used as bait for traps, or even infected and devoured by Rustborn scorch effects. They are deeply woven into the fabric of the game.
The design insight here is just brilliant. EchoForms are reflections of what's been done, not projections of what will be.
They are intelligent memory echoes. It's a concept uniquely suited to a world where effort leaves a footprint, and where power can decay beautifully, leaving something meaningful behind.
So, when you next sleeve up your deck, don't think of EchoForms as mere summons. Think of them as stories. Each one is a testament to a tool that was used, a task that was completed, or a choice that was made.
They are the ghosts of the forge, the engine of memory. Harnessing them isn't about building an army. It's about mastering the echoes of your own actions.
A perfect summary for a card type that is anything but simple. It all comes back to how you play your turn, and the echoes you choose to leave behind.
In every match of Tools and Titans, your tradecraft unfolds in 6 simple moves: draw, charge, building, act, clash, end,
Toolin', simplicity for the novice,
mastery for the Titan.